Welcome to the Joy School Podcast. Real talk about what it takes to create your happiest, healthiest, and most dynamic life. And now, here's your host, transformational life coach, happiness strategist, and best-selling author, Kristi Ling Spencer.
Well, hello, friends. I'm so glad to be back with you for another episode of the show. I am actually coming to you again this week from Malibu. And for any of you who might have missed it in the last couple episodes, I'm spending a few weeks in the Los Angeles area on a self-created work and healing retreat. And it has been so amazing. I have been so fortunate to be able to create this for myself, along with the help of two of my dear friends who generously offered me their beautiful homes while they were out of town. And it happened to be back to back. Don't you love when things like that work out? So I came out for the whole month. I spent 2 weeks up in the beautiful San Fernando Valley. The weather was absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous fall Southern California weather in a lovely home with a big backyard with a rose garden and a pool. It was amazing. And then I came down the hill here to Malibu, right on the water for 2 more weeks. And it has been such a time of transformation, of mindset work, of being creative and getting work done, and of working intensely on healing a couple of things that I needed to sort of buckle down and really tackle. And it's been so great. I've been able to get so much done in terms of moving the needle on creative projects and just things I wanted to do. Now, it's not easy to pack up and go somewhere for an entire month, but wow, I will tell you, it has been so worth it. And as they say, if you want something you've never had, you've got to be willing to do something you've never done. And so when this opportunity came up, I said yes. And, you know, the other thing to keep in mind is that this stuff in life, these opportunities, a lot of times we let them pass us by and we say no because we're afraid of the work it's going to take to work out the logistics. But I'm going to tell you, I am so grateful that I said yes. And I did take the effort to jump through the hoops to work it out because it's been an amazing experience. And I could have made it a million excuses to say no and stay home in my comfort zone, right? But there's something I know. Sometimes in life, what's holding us back from extraordinary things is not actual reasons. It's excuses. There is a big difference between a valid reason for something and an excuse. And believe me, excuses have held me back before. I know that for sure. And they can be disguised as reasons a lot of the time when they are actually excuses. So learning to be really honest with yourself about which is which when it comes to making choices in your life that can be a massive catalyst for positive change is a very powerful thing. Learning to sort of self-reflect and ask yourself, is my reason for saying no to this or not doing it actually a reason, or is it an excuse? And learning to sort of dissect those two things, it's very powerful. Okay, so that leads me into the topic for today's show. And we're going to have some fun with this because I'm going to tell you the secret on how I revamped and relaunched this podcast and my social media, my brand, and even some things in my life. There is actually one thing I did that propelled me forward and really created the momentum and the clarity I needed to start getting things done, to really start getting things done and even knocking some things out of the park. And it's been feeling so good. I just can't even say that enough. There are no words for how happy I am with how things have been going this last few months. And I will tell you, it has been so liberating and so rewarding to create so much content and add so much value to the world. It is the best feeling ever. Do you want to know what I did? I let go of the need to be perfect. I allowed myself to be willing to put some things out into the world that I didn't see as perfect. And that included myself, by the way. You may have noticed in a few of my recent Instagram videos that I have no makeup on, no glam, and that's fun and I love it. Glam is fun, right? But sometimes I just want to create. Sometimes I'm inspired and I just want to share something with you. And you know what? If I just rolled out of bed or just got done at the gym, I'm not going to let that hold me back anymore when I feel inspired to say something or create something. So that's really the philosophy I've been applying to so many areas of my life. And with the podcast, I decided to stop overthinking it and just do it. Just recreate it in the way I envisioned. And if I stumble on a word, or I just stumbled on saying stumble on a word, how funny is that? Or maybe I don't love the way I said something, or it doesn't come out perfect, I just leave it alone and I let it fly. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not re-editing some sections where I think something could be like 10 times better or whatever when it's very clear. But for the most part, I'm just letting the little stuff go. And I'm focusing on the bigger picture of creating the content and creating and adding value. I don't even bother to be particular about editing out every tiny mistake, because I realized that was a big part of what was holding things back and holding me back in a lot of areas of my life. And mistakes are part of being human. And most of the time, chances are it's only me that notices, right? Have you ever realized that you were being so particular about a mistake or trying to get something done perfectly, and then, realized that, it's only me that's going to notice that, right? Also, one thing I don't want to do is give the impression that I never make mistakes, or that I always wake up looking my best with makeup and hair all done, right? Because we're already flooded with enough of that these days, aren't we? I'm tired of it a bit. I'm tired of all of the pressure to be perfect and to look perfect and to speak perfectly and to write everything perfectly and to never have a typo, whatever it is. We all have so much pressure on us, and a lot of it is social media, right? A lot of it is just the media. But I really wanted to let that go. And I don't ever want to give the impression that I'm perfect, because I'm not. I'm human. And my commitment to you is to take this journey with you, to be real and authentic with everything I share and offer, so that I can be of the best service to you and that we can grow in this together as a community, right? That's the goal. That's the ultimate goal. So I really did some mindset work around this. There was a time in my life when I was so hard on myself about even the smallest mistakes. I was my own worst critic, and in many ways, it kept me small and held me back. I know a lot of you can relate to this. Perfectionism was not serving me. Fear of what others would think was actually holding me back from accomplishing so many things. We have a tendency to shrink and not put our creativity, our work, our art, or even ourselves out into the world out of fear of what others might think, or fear of not being perfect, or fear of making mistakes. Think of all the amazing art, music, education, inventions, books, businesses that have never reached the world because their creators were afraid of making mistakes or what others might think. Can you think of a time in your life when maybe you said no to an opportunity, or didn't share something you wanted to share because you were afraid it wasn't perfect, or of what others might think of you, or even the tiniest imperfection? Yes, right? We've all been there. I want to invite you to join me in letting go of the binding ropes of perfection and what others might think, and set yourself free by allowing yourself to make mistakes, put things out that maybe you don't feel are 100%, put things into the world, even if you don't feel like you're ready. There's a powerful quote from John Steinbeck that says, "And now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good." Now, I've always loved that quote, but I'd like to tweak it a bit and say, and now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be great. Because do you know why some of the most successful people in the world are so great at what they do? Because they are prolific in putting out quality information into the world. They're prolific about putting out quality products into the world, or quality art, whatever it is. They don't hold themselves back just because every single thing they do might not be their best work. They put it out and they keep going and they keep creating, and they forgive themselves for mistakes because we all make them. They let go of imperfections and they keep creating. And through this, enough of what they create is actually really incredible, really amazing, and really hits, right? And through not getting stuck in worrying about being perfect, they blow up their industries with beautiful work that serves so many people. That's my goal, my friends. That is a great goal, right? Who's ready to join me? I say, let's go. So whatever it is you're dreaming of, whatever it is you've been a little bit fearful of putting out there, whatever it is you're feeling called to do more of in your life or share with the world, let go of the idea that you're not ready. Let go of the idea that it has to be perfect and just set the goal of getting it done and putting it out there. Just get it done and put it out there. And try to be fearless. I know that's easier said than done, but trust me when I say the more you do it, the better it feels, the more comfortable you'll feel with it. You'll be uncomfortable at first, but success comes with a great deal of discomfort. I have learned that, and I know this to be true. But the more you do it, like I said, the more comfortable you'll get. So yes, it takes a buttload of courage. And yes, you have to give yourself grace and be easy on yourself because there will be mistakes. There will be imperfections. And yes, you may get a few critics, but I like to believe that if you're not getting a hater or a critic now and then, you're not making enough of a splash in the world. Because when you're making a splash in the world and you're speaking your truth and you're sharing your gifts, not everyone is going to like it. And that's okay. Those are not your people. The people who are meant to be served by you, to learn from you, to enjoy what it is you have to offer, to enjoy your gifts, are going to find you and they're going to love what you're doing. So what are you going to start on today? Think about this with me. Come up with a creative idea. I challenge you to think of whatever that thing is that you've been wanting to do, that you've been putting off, and just take one step toward making it happen today. I know you've got it in you. Please leave me a comment over on Instagram or Facebook and let me know. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear about it. And I would love to support you. So keep me posted on what you decide to create once you set yourself free of those mindsets that can hold us all back. Because trust me, I was there and every day I'm doing the work to let go of it and to just keep creating. And so far, it's really working well. And that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this season of the podcast so far. So one of the things I decided to do to better serve the show and create a higher quality show and also serve all of you is to now do the podcast in seasons. So this is episode 9 of season 1 of the new edition of the podcast. There's going to be one more episode in this season, which is coming up next week. And after that, there's going to be a break, a hiatus for a few weeks while I work on some other creative projects and also to give you some action time to implement some of the things we've talked about this season. Because sometimes when you keep going and soaking things in, that can feel good and it's all good, right? And you're learning and growing, but implementation takes time and takes focus. And sometimes you need to pause to implement things or to work on creating new habits. And so I just thought this format for the show, doing it in seasons and having a few weeks break in between each seasons, will really serve everybody and allow me to create the highest quality podcast for you. So I hope you love that idea and I hope you've enjoyed this season so far. And like I said, there's one more episode for this season coming up after this one. And I'm looking forward to that. And so now it's time to get into the part of the show where I share a new habit with you. This is called Joy School Habits, habits of the Joy School. These are small habits of people who are looking to create more wellness, energy, and joy in their lives that can have big impact. I love things that are relatively effortless or just take a small shift that have a big return on investment of that small shift, right? So for this episode, I would like you to create the small habit of every week doing something a little different that's outside of your routine or your comfort zone. This is actually proven to break monotony, boost joy, boost creative thinking, and even ease anxiety and depression. When we break our routines and our cycles and we get out of our comfort zones and we do something even just a little bit different that's outside of the zone of our habits, right? It wakes up our senses and can create positive shifts in our brain that can bring more joy, more momentum, more inspiration. It doesn't even have to be something expensive or time consuming. It could be something really fast or just it takes a few minutes or low cost. But whatever your choice is, put it on your calendar and just make sure it's something totally different and outside of your normal routine. Whatever you feel called to include in your week. Some ideas could be like visit a local museum, call an old friend, write a thank you note to someone that's touched your life, plan a vacation, buy yourself some flowers, or go to the theater. Or something I love to do is to try a new recipe off of Pinterest because I feel like the stretching of my mind and just following along with something else creative and then having the reward of a beautiful dish that I've learned how to make, it makes me feel alive. It's so energy bringing to me. And so to find those things that are outside of your normal routine that bring joy and energy to you is the goal here. And they, like I said, they can be something as small as going onto Pinterest and finding a new recipe and making it for dinner, right? By the way, you all can follow me on Pinterest. Although mostly over there, I share quotes and recipes, of course, because that's my spot. That's my go-to place for recipes and food. I'm a little bit of a healthy food nut. I love decadent recipes that are also in alignment with health and good food choices. And I found there are so many and I get so excited about them. So if you're interested in that as well, you can follow me over there at Kristi Ling Spencer. So creating the habit of stepping out of your comfort zone and just doing something a little different, either daily or weekly, can bring more fun and joy into your life. And even the smallest experiences we create on purpose can make life more beautiful. So I invite you to try that this week. Do something different. Put a little something different on your calendar and go for it. Okay, my friends, if you enjoyed this episode, I would be super grateful if you would leave a review over on Apple Podcasts. This is how you can help the show reach more people who might also enjoy it. And take a minute to connect with me over on Instagram, Facebook, or even Twitter, and visit my website at KristiLingSpencer.com. I've got some articles and some free things for you over there. I am sending you so much love. And until next time, remember, you've got what it takes to create more amazing days. And more amazing days make up a pretty amazing life. Have a fantastic week, my beautiful friends, and I will be back with you soon. Cheers, everybody.